Great day to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. Great day to be alive. Great day to be alive. We're going to start off with gratitude as always. Right? We're going to start off with some gratitude as always. Part of me was hesitant to actually want to make this video. And I started to compare myself to other people again. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that you can make as you're navigating this world, as you're wanting to make progress, is comparing yourself to people that are further along. I think as an entrepreneur, we're constantly conditioned to want to learn more. We want to develop. We're constantly learning, reading, listening to podcasts, YouTube videos of individuals that are further along than us. Well, here's the thing. When are you going to sit back and appreciate what you made, what you did, what you got going through your mind right now? And of course, this is going to be relevant to the person that is not taking action. And I'm going to get to those that are taking action. But for those that have not moved forward from a taking action perspective, from a creating their own channel and actually posting content on it because of a lack of confidence, this is your wake-up call. Go ahead and start recording the videos right now. I'm telling you, even if you don't post these videos today, even if you don't post them, at the very least, what you could do is get an external hard drive, and you could simply start keeping this outside of the internet for that. Because here's the thing, a lot of times it's not even that you lack the skill set. A lot of times what you lack is confidence. I'm gonna say that again. So a lot of times it's not the skill set that you lack, it's the confidence. And you're measuring your skill based on the result, the lack of result that you have and the result that others are getting. I'm gonna say that again. So you are measuring yourself based off of the lack of results that you're getting, and you're comparing to the results that others are. And that's a problem. That's a problem. See, a lot of people that you see on the internet right now have gone through stuff. And some have, but most have not documented the shit. Most have not documented the crap, the stuff they had to actually overcome to get to where they are. So you're measuring yourself to somebody's successes, acting as if the negatives didn't happen. It's like the lights, camera, action mentality. We have this lights, camera, action. Look, we've grown up watching television. We've grown up watching cartoons, sitcoms, comedy on TV. And even now in the internet age, there's videos that are constantly being edited. And we gravitate more towards that. We forget that there's a process. We forget that there's a team behind all of the documentation, all of the videos that are being created. We forget that. So I challenge you, at the very least, to start recording today, if this is the path you want to take. Because I'll tell you what, right now, what you have going through your mind, the value that you have to provide, you may never have that exact same framework of thought. You may not be able to deliver that message the same exact way that you're able to do it today. So again, even if you don't decide to post it on the social media platforms, then what the fuck? Why don't you just keep it so that whenever you do build up your self-confidence, then you can go ahead and post it. Time doesn't go backward, that I can guarantee. And I can go on and on about this, man. Look, I'm gonna start with this. Years ago, I came up with a framework. That's probably gonna happen a couple times. Shout out to Shawty. Fuck with you, I fuck with you. So, there's this framework that I want you guys to conceptualize. And it may take you years to get it, or it may take you one day. But I want you to start your journey with this framework. And this framework is KTS, UTS, and STS. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down each pillar. But these pillars are going to help you to conceptualize where you are in your progress. So I want you to start with KTS. KTS is simply knowing thyself. Knowing thyself is the obvious. Hey, where you from? I'm from XYZ. What school did you go to? I went to XYZ. Where do you live? I live over here. What do you do for work? I do this. When's your birthday? This date. Do you have a family? Yes. What's your social? Bam, bam, bam. What's your EIN? Bam, bam, bam. What's the name of your business? Bam, bam, bam. All right, I kind of went out of the realm of the point. But the point is that these are things that you know. You know things about yourself. When people ask you, these are the answers that you give when people start asking things about you. These are the things that you are immediately able to spit out without having to think much of, right? And that's where a lot of people are. In fact, I'll take it a step further. I'll dive a little deeper, but I'm not going to go too deep into that. Is most of us are in what I call spiritual debt. So not only do we know ourselves at the basic level, we know more about other people than we do ourselves, right? Be it an athlete, a musician, a business owner, a content creator, an influencer. And going back to knowing yourself, one of the most important things of documenting, which I consider this the most powerful, potent way of personal development in the world. Why? Because you get a chance to study yourself. You get a chance to see yourself in 4K and see what is it that actually moves you, the passion that you have behind specific topics. And here's the thing, the opposite is true as well. So if there's a topic or a belief that you've been talking about in the marketplace, but you go back and watch your own video talking about it, you're like, hold up, I don't really stand on that. Where's my confidence? Why am I even talking about that? Do I actually believe in that? It's watching yourself from another angle. Knowing yourself. Knowing yourself is basic. We already know these things about ourselves. The basics. I think where things get a little more juicy is when you start understanding yourself. And the way to understand yourself, I kind of touched on it on the first pillar, is when you go back and you study your content. You listen to yourself. You pay attention to what is it that moves you, not what people are watching. You don't go to your YouTube analytics and say, oh man, people loved this video, I'm going to go ahead and do more of this. Spiritual debt. Why? Study your own self. Dive deep into more of what drives you. Because the world is going to lead you in many different directions. If you have 1,000 followers, one person's going to have this problem, the other person's going to have that problem, the other person's going to be talking about this person's going to be trolling. But what about what you got going on? So now you're putting energy towards somebody else's random ass life when what initially attracted them to you was you keeping it a stack. Understanding yourself is going back and watching the video so you see what is it that drives you, what picks up your energy, what areas are you a genius in. And again, being able to eliminate the things that you are not competent enough in. And guess what? You could decide. You could say, you know what? I could improve in that. I actually enjoy this topic. I want to become better in it. I want to be more proficient in this space. So you start educating yourself in that. But you make the decision. Not based off a suggestion that you got from somebody else or criticism. Nah, bro, you got to double down on yourself. Nobody's here coming to save you, dog. I can guarantee you. Nobody's coming to save you, dog. Nobody's coming to save you. If there's one thing you could take away from this video, is nobody's coming to save you. And I know there's going to be trollers and people talking about, yo, you going in different directions. Good. If you have an issue with it, you could remain cookie cut in your life and develop your own infrastructure within your own community and do what you decide. But this is the problem, is a lot of us, we acquiesce our decision making in our life based off our culture, our friends, our environment, our job. We don't take enough time with ourselves. And one of the most underrated ways of personal development, sorry to all these gurus, but I'm gonna keep it a stack, bro. That business is gonna become obsolete. Why? If you take this recommendation to heart. Everything that all these personal development gurus talk about is great, but they cannot contextualize it to you. It's all broad. It's like throwing things up in the wall and praying something sticks. It's all broad. But guess what? When you are recording yourself, when you're talking about what is it that you have within yourself, you're going to determine if it's an area that you could improve in. And here's the thing. There's no limit to this, bro. You don't have a time clock. You don't have to follow a specific schedule. You literally could communicate whatever you got going on in your mind at whatever time. But what you choose to do is watch somebody else. You choose to watch somebody else's highlight reel, somebody else's lights, camera, action moment, where they actually recorded a video, brought it to an editing team, and made it super clickbaity so that you could watch it. And I know, because I've done it as well. Here's the thing. I'm gonna break this down a little more, right? So one of the biggest issues that I found, I'll talk about music for a little bit. Music's great, I get it. But I want you to think about the timeline in which you're receiving the information. All right. So let's say that I say, going back to gratitude, I acknowledge the moment. You believe in anything while I don't believe in nothing. All your Yeshua followers label me as atheist. Is it divine if the pastor studied on? What's next? You continue tithing while your leaders building businesses. Now, somebody just heard that. Now, I'll use a better example. I just feel like doing that. Let's say you listening to Bad Bunny or Russ, right? Or you listening to any song that resonates with you at the time. Whatever song that may be. In fact, write it down in the chat if there's a song that has resonated with you. Just write it down. Now, this song, let's say you listen to it today. Today was the first time you heard it. And you're like, yo, this shit's hard. You know what I'm saying? This shit's hard. This shit go hard. So you listening to it, you vibing. You don't realize what it took to make that song. Let's say it took 6 to 12 months to make the song. But it took another 6 to 12 months to produce it, edit, engineer, put everything together. So for simplistic sake, let's say we're already at 2 years. So you heard it today, but this song was made back in 2023. And it took time for them to release it. But I'm going to go a step further. That individual is not talking about something that went on that day. That individual quite literally is spitting something that he either overcame, learned 3 years before that. So now what's the problem? What's happening? Now you are jamming, you riding out in your whip, you listening to music of someone that released the song today. It was produced, it was created, pretty much it was in the works 2 years ago, but the situation was 3 years before then. And that's what you're dwelling on. That's what I call spiritual debt. So from a getting it out perspective and just resonating, I get it. But if you're going to dwell on that every single day, you got something else coming for you. Why? Because we're in today right now. And we're in a whole nother time than when that person created that song. But you, as an individual, you're still operating in that framework, in that mindset. And this is what I'm talking about. To me, the remedy to this is going to be UTS, right? So A, know yourself. You start recording, understand yourself. You start going back and listening and watching your own content. Some of you may have a lot of music in your head. Music heads. You aren't even consciously thinking. You quite literally just have a whole bunch of you have a whole catalog of different songs from the past just going constantly through your mind. Every situation is connected to a song. And hey, if you want to live like that, cool, bro. But if you don't value the power in the mind, in your mind, and if you don't value it, then all right, fair. But for those of you that understand the God-given right that we've had to think and actually communicate and create and imagine, you deserve your mental real estate. You deserve it. That's what the universe gave you, and you just gave it up. So, I'll give you guys a real story, you know what I'm saying? Like, I used to, there was a time where I just stopped music completely, and I was so different than the world. I was just out there in a good way, but the world thought I wasn't, and it was hard for me to resonate and talk to people and connect because I was just constantly learning. I was just educating myself, just becoming more aware of business, marketing, education, financial markets, stock market, real estate. I was just learning so much that I didn't really take the time to learn anything about. I didn't take the time to hear music and listen to music. And then somewhere down the road, I realized that, I was like a super oddball. I couldn't even mac bitches. I couldn't do shit. I was like, what is going on? So I started putting together a playlist so that I could somehow get back to reality and connect with the world and somehow, have some type of relationships in my life. To quickly realize I was going nowhere fast. I put myself back in a bucket that I did not want to be in. Misery loves company, guys. And I'm not saying that people that just dwell and listen to music all day are miserable. That's not what I'm saying. But if you have given away all of your mental real estate to a random artist or a list of artists, I'm inviting you to start acquiring some of that mental real estate back by not paying me, by simply hitting record, turn that camera around and start recording. What goes up must come down. And what goes in must come out. So all these years from day one, from the time that we were born, we've been in consumption mode. There's a select amount of people that have been given the freedom as kids to communicate and talk and express themselves and be leaders and move on to management, where they're constantly thinking, putting things together and having to communicate. If you're a leader in a football team, you have the ability to make decisions versus have decisions being made and follow. Some people have been blessed through being around good people where they could play offense in life. But for the majority of you, you guys are in defense. You accept everything that comes your way, and whatever it is, good, bad, or indifferent, it's like, I'm inviting you to start playing offense. And I know the one thing that's going to stop people from doing it is, again, that mental block. But people are not going to like my message, or I don't have X amount of followers. See, you're doing it with the wrong framework in mind. Forget about social media for a minute. Forget about all these media platforms. I want you to literally just document and get an external hard drive and start putting it on the external hard drive. As soon as your phone starts filling up with, as soon as you start losing memory or whatnot on your phone, then just simply put it in the external hard drive, put it away. And after 2, 3, 4 years of content, I want you to go back and I want you to compare where you are to where you were. And this is going to be the most transforming thing in your life. When you start seeing the amount of development that you've gone through over this time, bro, you are going to be fascinated. But I'll tell you what would happen if you don't do this. You're going to continue scrolling, looking at other people that are doing good things, making good money, and you're going to keep comparing yourself to other people's W's, forgetting about where they started, versus investing all that time into becoming the best version of yourself. Who's going to force you to do this? Nobody. Who's going to profit if you don't? A lot of people. Because I guarantee if you don't control your mind, somebody else will. I'm going to say it again, bro. If you don't control your mind, somebody else will. And that's real, bro. Like, you can't walk nowhere nowadays without having something inputted inside your mind. It's damn near impossible, bro. Everywhere you go, there's something being put inside your mind. So unless you tune out the world and you have noise cancellation headphones, or you're listening to your own voice, or even your own set of music or whatnot, the point is, even music, you're now putting yourself into another mental state. But the point is that you can't walk into any place without listening to something. There's always noise happening. So I challenge you to start controlling the noise, the sounds that are being put inside your brain. Because if you don't control your mind, somebody else will. And here's a way to start diluting the negativity or whatever has been put inside your mind, be it positive, negative. Here's a way to start diluting it. What goes up must come down, and what goes in must come out. Start getting it out, bro. Don't judge it. Listen, I'm a big believer of responsibility. I accept responsibility for things that I've done. I've accepted responsibility for things that I didn't do, my W's and L's. I realized that I definitely could have been a lot further along. I fully understand that. I could have made better decisions. I've had great opportunities that I didn't fully latch on to. I've had good women come into my life that I just, kicked to the curb, and I said, nope. I've made those mistakes. But I accept responsibility. I accept responsibility. I accept responsibility, and I want you to start taking responsibility for the life that you create. And if you don't like the results that you're getting, I want you to think about the input that you're putting inside your mind. And if you don't know where you're going to be, if you don't have an idea, if you've never thought about or conceptualized a plan, it doesn't have to work out exactly how you plan it. It can, the more you focus and think on that. But if you have no clue where tomorrow's going to be, it's because your input is wrong. It's confused. You've allowed a ton of information to just come in without filtering any of it. But you can change that. So last thing I'm going to talk about on this pillar is going to be STS, which is share thyself. So we talked a little bit about know yourself, know thyself, KTS. We talked a little bit about UTS, understand thyself. And now this is the big one. But it doesn't have to get there. So before you start posting on social media, why don't you start first knowing yourself, understanding yourself, and then once you have that confidence, you go back to all of the content that you've created over the years. You go back to that external hard drive, and then you start sharing it to the world. If you find value in it, if there's insight, if there's some value that you believe that could be brought to the world, then start sharing it with the world. But there's absolutely no pressure. This is your game, bro. This is your life. Nobody's coming to save you, dog, right now. Now, when you do win, all of a sudden there's going to be opportunity. That I will admit. A lot of people start respecting you. All of a sudden the cheeks start coming out of nowhere. It's like, yo. Where you at? Yo, where were you? Yo. All of a sudden, this starts coming out of nowhere. But it's because you have something that nobody could take from you. And it's that belief, that understanding of yourself. Nobody could take that. And most people actually are attracted to that. That's the thing that you guys are missing. See, when somebody blows up on social media, I started analyzing. I'm like, yo, why is it that I'm watching this person, bro? Why? What is it about that person? Why am I investing my life watching this person right now? And one would argue, is like, yeah, but they're the GOAT in XYZ. And I'm learning. Nah, bro, you got to be a little more intentional when it comes to learning, because I'll talk about myself. I've gotten into the mental habit or rut of just scrolling, and then you see a specific person that just because it's that person, you end up watching the video because you know they're valuable and they typically have good things to say, and they are the GOATs, or they're the leaders in specific industries. So you want to listen to what they're saying. You respect their word. But there's a big difference between learning and just scrolling and stopping to watch somebody that you believe in. Because if you want to learn from that somebody, you would go to their course or their classes or even their channel and their playlist and specifically watch what you're learning, what you want to learn. So I started asking myself, what is it that gravitates me to these people? And it's because they're conscious leaders, bro. They're conscious leaders. They are operating under their true self. And look, here's the thing, regardless of the level that you are in, there's still people that talk bad about them. It doesn't even matter, bro. There's people that still talk bad about them, no matter how ethical they are, how many good things they've done to the world, how much of a leader they are, how good of an example they are, bro. There's still people out there that still talk bad about all these people. So there's never going to be perfection. And it's not going to be any different with you. But the most important thing that you will get out of this, by recording yourself, going back to read, or you can read if you write. That's let me slow down. Going back and watching your videos and then sharing it if you believe. And this isn't new stuff. This technique is not new, bro. This stuff has been around for centuries. Think about scribing. There's this book that was written of the importance of scribing. I forgot the acronym that they used, but basically scribing was one of them. Meditating, all these things were principles that were important. Reading, what was it? It was read, write, exercise. It was a really good acronym. But the point is that what I'm telling you has been talked about, and people have been doing it and found success in it for so many years. The difference is nobody has done it in a digital format. Most people have talked about writing and then journaling. They talked about journaling, and then when you journal, you go back and read and kind of see the difference in where you are now to where your mindset was before, and that within itself does a lot. It shows you that you've made significant progress or you didn't. It also separates you from the thoughts that you have versus what's actually happening. But nobody's ever talked about the power of this. This right here, this shit right here, this shit right here, this shit right here is one of the most powerful ways to develop yourself. And I stand on that. So, with all that being said, what I want you guys to do is stop watching this video, and I want you to start recording your own video. Just start recording. If you don't like the topic, if you start feeling weird, if you start losing out on what is it that you're going to talk about, these are all areas in which you need to improve. These are weaknesses that you need to break through. And the more screen time that you give yourself, the more camera time that you put on yourself, the more your confidence is going to start building up. Because a funny thing is going to happen. At some point, you're going to go back and you're going to watch this video and you're going to say, oh, hell, you're going to judge yourself. You're going to be like, this shit corny as fuck, man. Like, what the fuck? Why did I do this? You may want to delete it. Don't. External hard drive. Do it again. And then you'll be talking about another topic. You'll be in another place. You'll be driving through another city, maybe another state. You'll be with another person in your life. You'll be in a different situation. And all of a sudden, you start talking about something that brings passion to you. And you watch that video, and then you're like, not bad. I'm going to keep this one. And you do it again and again, and you're like, this one's kind of corny. And then you decide to get a little confident, and you post it. And you're like, man, nobody watched it. Delete. Or you could unlist it so nobody could see it. Or just put it on private for now. But just keep recording. 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 And then you make another one. And then you watch it and you laugh. You're like, that was kind of silly, but I got a little personality to me. Like, oh shit. I like this one. See, what's happening is now you're building your own self-confidence. Nobody could do this for you, bro. Yeah, there's people that could talk good into your ear, but it's never long-term, bro. At some point, you're going to be laying down in your bed. Hopefully, it's not with the person that brought you up. Well, it depends. But regardless, bro, you want it to be you that brought you up. You want it to be you to where one day, if you're laying down in your bed by yourself, you are the one that brought yourself up. From a self-belief perspective, you were happy with the things that you did. You made yourself laugh. You were able to ridicule yourself. You were able to laugh and make a joke about your own stuff. And that's where your power comes. That's where you begin taking power away from other people, and that judgment that Gary talks about often. He's like, bro, self-judgment is a bad thing. I don't know what he says, but I know that you could improve yourself once you start judging yourself. Because we have something inside called autocorrection. And what autocorrection is when we do go back and watch this video, we're going to determine if that's something that we stand on, if we believe in, if it's just something that you heard years ago and you don't really believe in it, but you've been saying it just cause. And you may start eliminating that from your vocabulary, from your line of topic. And then you go back and watch your video, and then you see one that really brought passion in your communication, or made somebody laugh, or made you laugh. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to talk more about that. I'm going to communicate and deliver more that way. And you start customizing yourself to what suits you. Not the world, not your ex, not your wife, not your brothers, your sisters, your friends. You. So take this away, man. I'm going to end it with this. KTS, UTS, and STS. Keep growing, guys. Keep developing. And I look forward to seeing you guys being the best version of yourselves. Non-stop.